Hi everybody, my name is Crystal. I'm here to talk to you today. It's easier for me to do a video blog than actually type this all out. The topic of conversation though today is on leadership. So for me, the three key things that I'm going to talk about are how I apply to being a Beachbody coach, but how this may be relevant to you is if you're think of like a parent with a small child, or perhaps just a leader in an organization. So if you think about biblically speaking, like we're all called to be servants, right? Like you're all called to like do things for other people. But on the same token, like in doing that, in setting the example, it makes us leaders because you are like walking the walk and talking the talk, right? So the principles I'm teaching you today, it's just three super easy ones. We learned about them, like I said, at church actually this last week, and it was from a biblical perspective, and it was about from a parenting. I don't personally have kids, so that wasn't how I took my takeaway. My takeaway was from a leadership perspective. So I'll just dive right into it. So there's three different aspects to identifying whether or not you're effective as a coach or as a leader. So the first one is when you think about the people that you're dealing with, your subordinates or your colleagues, peers, whomever. Are there clear expectations with both boundaries and accountability? So the way to test this is, do the people who you're working with, do they know that the boundaries exist? And then do they know why they exist? So can you right now think about where you're at in your life and whether it's your dog or your children or like for me, the people I coach with health and fitness, like do they know what their boundaries are? Do they know that they need to be sending me their meal plan every single day for accountability? Like, do they know what that is? Do they know what their calorie intake is? Do they know what types of food to eat? And do they know why? Like, am I just blindly giving them a meal plan, or am I explaining to them the purpose of front loading vegetables before a workout followed by protein afterwards? Like, am I explaining those things to them clearly? From a parenting, maybe your question is do your kids know what their boundaries and limits are? And then are you enforcing them? Do they feel like they're enforced? Do they realize that there's going to be consequences if they don't follow this behavior? As a free coach, it's not I'm going to come to your house and punish you, but at the same time, there's still consequences. To poor choices, there's consequences such as not reaching your goals on time. So the first one is clear expectations. Are they there and why? The second one is all about emotional feeling. So it's how do people feel? Do they feel loved? Now this one's really critical because especially for men out there, they're not super overly loving and emotional with their feelings, but it's do you discipline your kids? Do they feel that emotional warmth and closeness to you as you guys are engaging and interacting? So basically, do they know that you love them, and then do they feel loved? As a coach, do my clients know that they're my priority? I don't coach people for the money. I'm not coaching people for other reasons. It's really just to build that relationship, to encourage people. That's my whole focus, is encouraging and inspiring others. And so do your kids feel that? Do they feel that love? And right now, if you were to ask them, would they feel loved? So if I called up any one of my clients right now, the question is, hey, do you feel like I care about you as a person? Am I really that invested in your goals and what you're trying to accomplish? And if you can't in your mind think about that and think honestly that they'd say yes to that, then do something different. Make a change, right? So the second one is that emotional closeness. Now the third aspect, it's big word called cognitive autonomy. And so what this is do they feel like they have the right to ask questions? So do you have this open enough communication and an open enough forum where you can talk to each other and gather insight? Are you closed-minded when it comes to certain topics? For me as a coach, I will first person admit that there is so much I don't know when it comes to nutrition and exercise. I have this huge network of supporters and people that I work with that give me feedback and advice. So when people ask me questions, sometimes I know, sometimes I have great responses. Sometimes the Lord gifts me with responses, but a lot of times though, I have to go back and say, let me look that up. Let me go do a little research on my own, and then I'll see. I don't have diabetes. I don't have a gluten intolerance. So I need to go figure out the specifics before I give you a knowledgeable response, And so I'm open to getting feedback and having people ask me questions because I know I'm sometimes come across like a know-it-all, but I know I'm not. And that's a question to ask yourself. Do the people you're working with, do the people you're trying to mentor and to be a leader to, do they feel like they have that opportunity to ask questions if necessary? So think about how you are receiving feedback and whether or not you're open to positive criticism, I guess is the way to think about it. Like, maybe there's things you need to change. I'm the first person to admit there's so much I need to work on, but think about yourself, and is there like things that you can work on and change to improve and make yourself better, okay? So that's kind of like where I'm at. Those are the things I want to teach you, just like 3 simple steps on being more effective as a leader, more effective as a parent, more effective as a coach, more effective as anything. Like, really just think again about expectations. Are they there? Are the boundaries defined? Do they know why they're there? Do you have that emotional closeness? Do they feel loved and appreciated and valued as a person? Like, biblically speaking, as we talk about that, I had this amazing devotional with one of my friends, and he was telling me like Jesus's whole purpose and feeling in life was to build those relationships, to be with the people. So think about that. Like, are you doing that? Do you have that emotional closeness with the people you're working with? Colleagues, peers, children, anyone. Like, are you building that emotional relationship? And then the third one was the cognitive autonomy, or the asking of questions. Do you have that open communication and that forum to ask questions? So just think about those things. Maybe think about areas where you can improve. Obviously, I think at least on one of those, there's some room for improvement for all of us. For me, it's all 3. Explaining the why is a big one for me. So I'm really good at defining boundaries and saying, do X, Y, Z. I don't always hold people accountable, which is challenging. I'm really good at saying, oh, I completely understand. Yeah, it was a busy day, so you don't have to do that. No, I need to be stronger and a lot more firm, kindly firm about the way I hold people accountable. So for me, defining the boundaries a little bit more clear and then having the discipline to follow through with it, that's my area for improvement over this next week as I deal with all my challengers, as I deal with everyone I'm working with, even in work, setting personal boundaries. Like, there's just so much you can apply this to. It's incredible. So yeah, think about that, and hopefully you guys will join me next time as we talk about a different topic. Okay, have a great night. Bye.